You got a lot of cities there.
You're gonna have a dream. Might as well dream big, right?
Right.
Yeah. One half, baby. It's one hit. Hey, no doubt. You gotta dream big. Dream big. Dream big. Don't say what you couldn't dream big. Do what you say you're gonna do. Dream big. Don't hold back. You got one shot. Dream big. Take the light and show 'em what you got. Dream big. One life to live, live it to the fullest. Dream big. Keep your motivation to make it to the top. Dream big. Like the haters, fuck the bullshit. Dream big. Cause it is what it is. Let's ride with this. Dream big. Let me fire up this blunt and take a moment. Think about what I'm doing, where I'm going. Am I satisfied with my life so far? I'd have to say yes, I'm not saying it wasn't hard. But I've been blessed, I must confess that I'm living my dream. Money, $1,000,000 condos and shows. Fashion model hoes that blow your dick in the back to keep your nose froze. VIPs, limos on the go. Forget the past, I don't know the future, yo. I stay in the moment. You can get it if you want it, so jump on that plane and take flight. Take aim, put it in your sights. Have to fight to get what you like. Cause you only got one ride. You don't wanna look back and say what you coulda did. You wanna know you did. So dream big. Dream big. Don't say what you coulda dream big. Do what you say you're gonna do. Dream big. Don't hold back, you got one shot. Dream big. Take the light and show 'em what you got. Dream big. One life to live, live it to the fullest. Dream big. Keep your motivation to make it to the top. Dream big. Like the haters, fuck the bullshit. Dream big. Cause it is what it is. Let's ride with this. Dream big. I dream big to compensate for my nightmares. I dream as if what I wish I had was right here. The weed is just to paralyze the stress I have. And yes, I have a lot of that. I'm not suggesting that I abuse Mary Jane or I'm addicted. But look at all the pain that my life has inflicted. So if I didn't smoke, there's no telling what I'd do. I'd probably end up locked up for a month or two, or they may take my life. Sometimes I hate my life, so when I'm depressed, I blaze a blunt and then I write. I'd give my life just for 16 bars and pour my heart out rather than to live with these scars. So I don't live for the day, I live for the moment. And though my eyes stay low, I am focused. My dreams are so big and far from reality that I will defy greater odds than gravity. Dream big, don't say what you couldn't dream big. Do what you say you're gonna do. Dream big, don't hold back, you got one shot. Dream big, take the light and show 'em what you got. Dream big, one life to live, live it to the fullest. Dream big, keep your motivation to make it to the top. Dream big, rock the haters, fuck the bullshit. Dream big, cause it is what it is. Let's ride with this. Dream big.
What's happening? What up? What it do? That's for sure. But everybody in my city say, what up, doe? What up? What up, doe? What up? What up, doe? Y'all, what is going on? It's motherfucking Thanksgiving. You know, I give thanks every day. You know, today's an extra special day. You know, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. You know. So, I hope everybody's having a real smooth, a real cool, and a real 100% true one. A real true one, you know. Shout out to my replay gang. You know, shout out to everybody that pulls up on your girl when you do. Everybody, if you could kindly take your finger real smooth, like real cool, like, and tap that thumbs up button for your girl. And then on the right, there's some emojis. You know, you got the little party, the 100, the heart. Tap, 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 tap on those. Show some support, show some love, you know. Show some love for your girl, you know. Share the live. If you haven't subscribed yet, you know, hit that subscribe button for your girl. It's free 99. And I want to give a big shout out to my people on the motherfucking yellow app, Snap, Chizzy Chat, okay? Shout out to my Snapchat people. Thank you so much, y'all. You know, I already am almost, we're almost halfway to my goal, you know what I'm saying? So I really do want to say I really do appreciate y'all on Snapchat. Thank you guys so motherfucking much. And, you know, I do want to say this. Right now, this is like, you know, there's different sectors on YouTube, and, you know, I've been learning, and right now, you know, I be doing crime, and we just be bringing awareness, and also it just, you know, random things, open discussion, you know, and then like I'm starting for, you know, we're gonna build I'm building you know, it's gonna be the rainbow sector, you know, and it's for the LGBT community, and we gonna get it up and off the ground. It's gonna be a safe place for us to, you know, good vibe and chill and talk about some shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, why not? You know, so that's what be going on. So I always started off. This right here is the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act, 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research, my friends, okay? So it is, I had read it out loud. It is in the description. It's pinned in the chat. You know, at any time also in the chat. The link, the StreamYard link, if you want to come up, if you want to talk, if you want to join me on the panel, go ahead and hit the link, you know, and let's talk about it, you know? So again, fair use is in effect. Yeah. Fair use is in effect, so let's go ahead and just start it off again. So again, this is my what's going on, y'all? How much of that did you hear? Scholarship and research. Oh, okay, never mind. I just hit the mute button. I got it. I figured it out. Okay, so this I just wanted to, you know, see what we could discuss, or, you know, chop it up. Again, this is just my perspective on things. It's my opinion, and my opinion in only. It does not make it the truth. It's just my perspective, you know, and it's okay to disagree. Doesn't Our opinions don't have to agree, you know, but we can definitely talk about it, and, you know, why not? You know? So, let me take this down really quickly, y'all. Hell yeah. So, history versus truth, you know? You guys, in my opinion, I feel like a lot of shit we were taught in school was a bunch of malarkey. Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on one second. I gotta get to the door. What up, Aggie with the wrench? What's going on? What up, though? Happy thanks motherfucking giving, and I hope you're being real smooth with it, real cool with it, and true with it. Hell yeah, that was my food getting motherfucking dropped off. I got me a plate dropped off real smooth, like real cool, like, you know, cause, you know, I was gonna eat a Lunchable and, you know, a smacker, a PB&J, strawberry, you know, and a popsicle and a can of Mountain Dew. But, you know, I got me a plate. Shout out to that plate. Thank y'all for the plate. It was great. I'm about to dig in after this. You did? Okay. Thank you, Aggie. And you, okay. Thank you again. Oh, yeah. I was over there this morning. I was on my Snapchat. I forgot about Snapchat. And I just was, you know, I was like, well, fuck it. You know, like, let me try. And I'm, you know, doing my thing. And it's growing and it's working. It's actually, you know, I'm smiling. It's the support means a lot. Again, shout out to my people on Snapchat. You know, we're actually, let me look. Let me see real quick before we begin. We are at, so I needed 123 more to go, y'all, and we are at Less than a hundo. Hey, hey, hey. That's what I'm talking about. Slowly but surely, it don't matter to me. It's gonna come. We got 100 more to go, y'all. Yeah, we gonna help this platform grow. I feel it. I love it. Y'all are amazing. Again, support is so much. It's free. It's great. You guys are great. You're wonderful. Hell yeah. Let's go. So again, this is my opinion. And again, this is in history class, I feel like we were fed a bunch of malarkey. Hell yeah. I really, really do feel like it was in Thanksgiving. In my opinion, it's history versus truth, in my opinion. And we're gonna take a listen, and we can all, and then we can talk about it. I'll drop the link again. And then, if you guys want to share your perspectives on things, or we can just stay in the comments with it, hell yeah. So, I'm going to go ahead and share the video, and we going to listen, and then we could talk about it, And again, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button for your girl. Hell yeah. I'm feeling great. I'm smiling. Again, thank you guys, the support. Y'all got my heart on, y'all got my heart on 100, for real. It means a lot. Like, it's like, dang, I should have thought about that a long time ago. But I've been busy and, been off Snapchat for a while, and so it was a great way to promote. And again, I was telling them, like, I'm going to try to start a rainbow sector for the LGBT community, so we have a safe space and place to, just chill with the good vibes and shit, So, rainbows in the chat, just a little thing, because, this is what I like to do, and I'm good at it, and I haven't seen a sector for that yet, so I think I'm gonna try to create one. What do you think, Aggie? Because you've been tuning in with me for a minute. Aggie with the wrench. Do 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 do. All right, let's get it pop-a-lockin'. Let me go to, and again, thank you guys so much for the mother effing subs, y'all. Y'all are wonderful. It's free. Look at that. Look how happy something free makes a motherfucker out here. Money, in my opinion, is a root of all evil. Y'all, this free shit be making me happy. So happy. Thank y'all. Again, thank y'all. Thank y'all for the free. Bear with me, y'all. We're getting ready to share the screen. Let's go. We finna share the screen, and we gonna talk about it. All right, y'all. I'm gonna eat my... Oh yeah, absolutely. She said, please and thank you. Hell yeah. And you're gonna be my, you're my one and only wrench over here so far, Aggie. So salute to you, for real. And, you getting a wrench over there in the rainbow sector, for sure, for sure. And yeah, and thank y'all. Yep, absolutely. I'm thanking y'all for every day. We talked about this. I'm thankful every day, but we're gonna get into it. So this is just my perspective on things again. And here we go, y'all. We finna roll the clip, and then we're gonna talk about it. What you mean? I said you have you have a wrench here, and and then over there you'll be the first wrench. Cause you've been my number one supporter, Aggie. What you mean? What you hear? You heard it wrong, girl. You my number one. Come on, Aggie with the wrench. You're a real one. That's what Aggie with the wrench. You got a wrench. You my first and only moderator so far, and you're great. You're great. You're great at moderating, and I thank you so much for that. For real. Ding. Oh, here we go, y'all. Here we go. Here we go. Again, this is just my opinion. We gonna listen to the video and then we gonna break it down, y'all. Okay. And again, feel free to comment, and I'm gonna drop the link. And then again, we can see what others' perspectives are. And again, everyone's opinion matters. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to agree. And everyone's opinion does matter. We all, that's what this is for. We all have voices, and we need to just learn to, agree to disagree if we do, and agree to agree if we do. And, it's just that grown up shit, It's that grown up ish. So here we go.
How to code. This is base 44. This is the first
actually have to do with a deep dive into the original language, the original culture, the context, the idiomatic expressions, all the debate. Is Thanksgiving really pagan in origin? What's the real history behind Thanksgiving here in America? Did the Pilgrims just sit down and sing Kumbaya with the Native Americans in 1621? Was that really the first Thanksgiving here in America? Or has the entire story been whitewashed as a national cover-up to something far more sinister? Let's dive into this subject and find out what happens when history meets the truth right after this. Believers, it's for back to the Hebrew, and that's what we do here. The context, the idiomatic expressions, all the debates on both sides of the coin in the first century and beyond. We want to find out the Christian roots of our faith. We want to interpret the Bible from the original context that it was written in, and all of that goes all the way back to the Hebrew, and that's what we do here. But from time to time, we dive into specific controversial subjects and try to see where history meets the passion for truth, or our passion for truth, I should say. What does the truth actually have to do with how we live our lives as believers? So this channel is really not for non-believers. It's for Christians. It's for those who claim Christ as the Messiah. So, like I said, from time to time, we dive into the topics of Christmas and Easter, the origins of Halloween and St. Patrick's Day, Valentine's Day, and everything in between. We want to discover why we do what we do, because as believers, we do what we believe. And so we need to find out why we believe what we believe. Where did we believe what we believe? In other words, where did it come from? And is it kosher? Does God put his stamp of approval on everything that we're doing? Because actually, when it's all said and done, it's not about us. It's not about how we feel. It's not what this means to us or that means to us. It's about what he thinks. It's about what he feels. And today is no different. This broadcast, we're going to uncover and expose the real truth of Thanksgiving, where it really comes from, and it's not going to be what you think. So no matter what side of the coin you're probably on, you're probably not going to hear what you want to hear, but we are going to talk about the truth. So
what's going on, Tanya, my girl? It's been a minute, my girl, Tanya. I hope you're being real smooth, real cool, and 100% real motherfucking true with it. Happy holidays. Happy November 27th to you. I'm thankful every day. We're watching. We're going to break it down. It's today in history what we learned. It's history versus truth. And we're going to talk about it. I'm going to drop the link afterwards, and we're going to chop it up and see, what everybody else thinks. And, it's okay to disagree. It's okay to agree. So, in my opinion, I'm thankful every day. I believe that we were taught lies about Thanksgiving, in my opinion. So, I think that this is the truth about Thanksgiving. So that's just my opinion. That's my perspective. I forgot to lay that down. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. So we gonna keep on listening, and then we gonna talk about it. Thank you again for pulling up on your girl, Miss Tanya.
as far as I'm concerned, the truth can only do one thing, and that's what the Bible says: set us free. All right, let's take time to uncover the traditional story of Thanksgiving, and along the way, we'll find out what's true and what's not true and what's absolutely true. So it all starts in September of 1620, where a small ship by the name of the Mayflower departed from Plymouth, England. It carried about 102 passengers. from various mixed Puritan, separatist, religious belief backgrounds, all seeking religious freedom from the Mother Church of England. Now, you have to understand the Puritans were a sect that came out of the Church of England. They said, hey, we don't want to conform to the Church of England. We want to have our strict belief systems, and we want to have a country or a land of our own where we could celebrate what we want to celebrate and worship God in the purest of fashions, not along the party lines of the Church of England. So that's a little bit of background of the Puritans, although much more could be said. But as it relates to this story, well, the journey lasted 66 days. It was an extraordinary, difficult, and arduous journey. And they landed, unfortunately, far north of their intended destination of the Hudson River.
The most important thing about a video is how it sounds, but finding the right audio can be challenging.
In Cape Cod. It wasn't until a month later that the Mayflower crossed Massachusetts Bay and the settlers began to produce and create what's called the Plymouth Colony. From there, it was wintertime, and it was winter indeed. It was brutal, it was difficult, and it was deadly. Many of the settlers decided to stay on board the Mayflower, while most died of malnutrition, they died of starvation, and they flat out died because it was freezing cold. Well, it was about that time where they were unexpectedly greeted by a member of the Abenaki tribe who spoke English. Now, here's where the gloss over happens. Let's ask the question, why did this member of the Abenaki tribe speak English? Because they had already been there for over 100 years, since 1492, and the English have been coming over many times in peace, sometimes kidnapping Native Americans, taking them back to England as slaves, teaching them English, and then bringing them back to teach them and to help them navigate the new world. So there was a bittersweet relationship already happening for well over 100 years before the Puritans even showed up. That is not really talked about in American history, but that's going to come in really, really handy and very important as we move forward. So after a successful corn harvest in November of 1621, Governor William Bradford, who's the governor of the newly budding Plymouth Colony, decides to organize a feast to celebrate the bounty and invited their Native American allies, including Massasoit, the chief of the Wampanoag tribe. This event, which lasted for 3 days, is often remembered as the first Thanksgiving. But was it? And that's what we're going to be talking about in just a few minutes. I'm going to suggest that the Pilgrim event of the Thanksgiving origin is not the origin of Thanksgiving at all in America. It's just part of the story, but the real story is being left out. And another story is taking its place and weaving in and mucking up the whole thing. We're going to discover the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And you can decide what the real story is. In the meantime, we don't know a whole lot about that, quote, first Thanksgiving, but what we do know is gathered from a Pilgrim chronicler called Edward Winslow. He wrote this about that specific Thanksgiving Day in 1621. He says, quote, "Our harvest being gotten in, our governor sent 4 men on fowling, that so we might after a special manner rejoice together, after we had gathered the fruits of our labors, they 4 in one day killed as much fowl as with a little help beside, served the company almost a week. At which time, amongst other recreations, we exercised our arms, many of the Indians coming amongst us, and amongst the rest their greatest king, Massasoit, with some 90 men, whom for 3 days we entertained and feasted. And they went out and killed 5 deer, which they brought out to plantation and bestowed on our governor and upon the captain and others. And although it be not always so plentiful as it was at this time with us, yet by the goodness of God we are so far from want that we often wish you partakers of our plenty." So this is a true account of what happened during that feast. And so it is true that there was a peace treaty for 50 years, and it's true that they sat down and they had this bounty. And this is one of the main reasons why American culture and tradition looks back to this moment and says this was the first Thanksgiving. Now, I'm going to suggest that there are other stories that trumped this later on, but there is a story in between here that is unfortunately not taught, and it really robs the Native Americans of the truth and the whole truth. So, but we'll get to that in just a moment. A few days after this feast, Squanto, the famous Squanto, who was a member of the Pawtuxet tribe, returned to Plymouth. Having been kidnapped by the English sea captain, sold into slavery, escaped to London, and finally returned to his homeland, Squanto helped the Pilgrims survive by teaching them essential farming and surviving skills, such as growing corn, tapping maple trees for sap, fishing in local rivers, and identifying harmful plants. He also played a very key role in establishing a lasting alliance between the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag, which endured for over 50 years and stands as one of the few peaceful relationships between European settlers and the Native Americans. So all that to say, the little cute plays of Squanto and the Pilgrims and everybody sitting down and singing Kumbaya is not so clean. It's been whitewashed because Squanto himself was kidnapped, he was enslaved, he was taken to England, taught English, and then brought back. And in that process, quite frankly, he didn't have an option. But what we do know is that he was kidnapped. And that's never a good thing, to be taken from your homeland and taken somewhere else, forced to do something different, and then brought back to your homeland as an enslaved to help the Pilgrims. So at this stage in the game, that entire story is normally left out because we don't want the white man to look bad. But quite frankly, we're looking pretty bad right now because kidnapping is not something that is biblical. It's not something that should happen, but unfortunately it did. And it's part of the story, and we need to recognize it as it stands. In 1623, the Pilgrims held another Thanksgiving to celebrate the end of a long drought that had threatened their crops. Governor Bradford actually called for a fast before the feast of, quote,
Stop scrolling, guys. It's Black Friday. And that means you can now start TRT method with huge discounts.
Thanksgiving, and this became very popular amongst many of the New England settlements in subsequent years. Now, here's where things get really dicey. The Pilgrims, who had settled in Plymouth in 1620, initially had a very peaceful relationship with the Wampanoag people, especially with their leader, Massasoit. However, as more English settlers arrived in New England and other places throughout the 20s and 30s, the relationship between the Native Americans began to sour. It radically began to change. The influx of settlers increased demands on the land and the resources, and the Native Americans began to experience the negative impacts of European colonization, including the spread of diseases that decimated their populations. This created growing tensions as Native peoples faced displacements from their ancestral lands. So here's the reality, my friends, of what happened. As the Pilgrims came in, they were very peaceful. There wasn't a whole lot of animosity or war that was between them. They had, like I said, they had a 50-year peace treaty. But as time went on and more European settlers showed up, the problems increased. And this created tensions, and this eventually led to war. In the 1630s, there is a significant event that changes the course of American history forever. And it's this event that's not told in your history books, and it's simply not part of the traditional story of Thanksgiving. And albeit I understand, it's not lighthearted, it's not easy to tell, and it's certainly not something that we as white Americans are proud of. But it is the truth, and the truth should always be told regardless of what it looks like. Before I tell you the story, it's important for you to know the difference between the Massachusetts Bay Colony New Englanders and the New Englanders at Plymouth, called the Pilgrims. This story is not about the Pilgrims, it's about the New Englanders at the Massachusetts Bay Colony. They went to war between 1636 and 1638 with the Pequot Indians. This is the dark side of the story of Thanksgiving that we don't want to talk about, is that the Pequot Indians were totally decimated by the New Englanders over greed. It was over territory. It was over land. It was over trade routes. They didn't have a peace treaty, so they went to war and they simply lost. Now, while the Pilgrims themselves were not directly involved in the Pequot War, the broader context of settler expansion and conflict in New England during this time contributed to rising tensions between Europeans and Native Americans. By the late 1600s, these tensions would eventually culminate in more direct conflict, most notably King Philip's War. This is 1675, 1676. And this time, it did involve the Wampanoag tribe and other tribes against the English colonists in a violent and devastating war. So while it started off very peaceful with William Bradford and Squanto and the peace treaty that lasted for 50 years, or was supposed to last for 50 years, the reality is, as it waned pretty quickly, and there was great war, tremendous bloodshed, and the Native Americans were stripped of their lands, their territories, and much of their resources. They were displaced by the New Englanders that came in and wanted to buy their land. And subsequently, the Native Americans thought that they were buying into their land, not buying the land out from underneath them. Imagine going to England and buying land. And now imagine that you're buying land in England and they're giving it to you, and now you are your own country. That would be unheard of and unthinkable. But this is exactly what the New Englanders did. They came in and they bought land and thought they were pulling it out from underneath the Native Americans, as if the Native Americans would sell their land. No, they thought they were selling the rights to come into their land. And this is where all the disagreements ended up, in war and bloodshed. It's not something to be very proud of, but the reality is, to go through all the details, is that it is true that the first, quote, Thanksgiving was very peaceful. I would imagine this is why the New Englanders of the early 1900s chose to celebrate a day of Thanksgiving, and they went all the way back to 1621, skipping the 30s and the 70s, where the New Englanders decimated the early Native Americans. While it's true that in 1621 there was a 50-year treaty between the Wampanoag tribe and the Pilgrims, it's not true that it was all kosher and all hunky-dory and everyone was singing Kumbaya from then on. The Pilgrims did not just come in and the Native Americans just hand over America to the New Englanders. No, it was not without extraordinary war, bloodshed, and displacement to the Native American tribes, which is not right to not tell the full story. So now where do we go? I'm going to submit to you that that entire story that I just told you is not even the origin of Thanksgiving as it relates to us today and how it was put into place by one of our American presidents. So let's turn the page and go one step deeper. First of all, it's important to know that in every tribe and in every tongue, in virtually every culture around the world, and every continent throughout every time period, had a day of Thanksgiving, had times of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is just something that's built into us, especially since it was an agricultural society, and because almost every culture had a homegrown deity, everyone seemed to want to give thanks to their deity for a bountiful harvest in their fall. And it just so happens to be the fall is the fall around the world, and harvest times all seem to align. This is why we find a Thanksgiving type of holiday in almost every culture around the world in every time period, because every culture generically had a harvest, and every culture had a deity, and every culture gave thanks to that deity for their harvest.
Monday.com, the opposite of any work platform we tried in the past. We tried other work management platforms, not naming.
They also had Thanksgivings for victories. This goes all the way back to the time of Rome and beyond. It was just natural, generic.
Yolanda, keeping it 100, my girl. I hope you're having a real smooth one, a real cool one, and a 100% real true one. Happy November the 27th to you, because, you know, I'm thankful every day we're listening to this video, and then we was going to talk about it, you know. Thanks for pulling up on you, girl. I really, really appreciate it. Hell yeah. Yolanda 100, shout out to you. Thank you for pulling up on you, girl. You know.
Human tendency to give thanks, or to, even in America, when we came home from war, we had a parade, or when a baseball team wins the World Series, there is a World Series parade. It is just natural within human inclination to celebrate victories. And this was no different in the American Revolutionary War. So during the American Revolution, the Continental Congress designated occasional days of Thanksgiving. In 1789, President George Washington issued the very first official Thanksgiving proclamation, encouraging the nation to give thanks for the successful conclusion of the Revolutionary War and the ratification of the United States Constitution. Now we come to 1817, where New York became the first state to officially celebrate Thanksgiving, or a day of Thanksgiving. And although there were many other states that followed suit, most of the states in the South did not have this tradition. And this is where things get interesting. In 1827, the author Sarah Josepha Hale, who was the author of the most famous story, Mary Had a Little Lamb, she actually was so impacted by celebrating Thanksgiving each and every year that she, for the next 36 years, wrote letters to presidents, congressmen, senators, and politicians, and she tried to get them to nationalize the holiday for the sole purpose of unifying the entire country. Because at this point, the North and the South were extraordinarily split. And this brings along how Abraham Lincoln fits into the story. So in 1863, during the Civil War, President Abraham Lincoln responded to Hale's plea. After 36 years of writing letters, she finally won her way, and he declared Thanksgiving a national holiday. His proclamation called for a national day of thanksgiving and prayer to help the nation be unified and healed from what just happened in the war. Lincoln set the date for Thanksgiving as the final Thursday in November. Interestingly enough, that's the same date that George Washington, our first president, set. The holiday was observed on the last Thursday of November for almost 80 years, all the way up until Franklin Roosevelt. He decided he was going to move it 1 week earlier in an effort to increase sales to help people get out of the Great Depression. But there was so much opposition to changing what had already become a national holiday and a tradition for families around the country that 2 years later he reversed his position and finally secured it into American history as the last Thursday in November. And that's where it is today. All right, what I want to talk about now is the elephant in the room. Think about the logic. We are told that the first Thanksgiving was 1621 with the Pilgrims and the Native Americans and Squanto and that whole story that we just went over. But the truth is that George Washington instituted the first Thanksgiving as it stands today on the fourth Thursday in November. And the reason he gives has nothing to do with Pilgrims, has nothing to do with Squanto, has nothing to do with Thanksgiving turkeys or Pilgrims at all. It has to do with a victory over England in the Revolutionary War and the signing of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. The War of Independence was his reason for Thanksgiving, and he chose the fourth Thursday in November to do so. So to go back and rewrite history as what the origin is 1621 is to miss the real reason why it became a real national holiday in America. It was not at all because of the Pilgrims. It was because of the War of Independence. That is the earliest that we have of a legal holiday being declared by a president of the United States. And interestingly enough, he never mentions the Pilgrims. And it gets ratified by President Lincoln for the same exact reason. As Americans came out of a civil war, he wanted to unify the North and the South because the North was already pretty much celebrating a Thanksgiving, and he did it for a similar reason that George Washington did, to bring unity to the country. So the truth is, it was the New Englanders in the early 1900s that changed the origin of Thanksgiving to go all the way back to 1621 in Plymouth. But the reality is, it was George Washington in 1778 that declared a national holiday on the fourth Thursday in November, exactly the way it is today, which is a big giveaway that that's the origin, because they didn't do it on the fourth Thursday in November in 1621. We have no idea. And it was 3 days, okay? But it was this American president and American presidents after that, like President Lincoln, that enshrined this holiday into what it is today. So although it may be true that some historians still point back to 1620 and 1621 as the very first Thanksgiving with the Wampanoag people and Squanto and the Pilgrims at Plymouth, but the reality is that was a very short peace treaty that lasted for a very short period of time before it all fell apart. And the story they don't tell you is the massacre of the Native Americans as they went to war in the 30s and the 70s called Philip's War, and it decimated the Native Americans of that time period. If we're going to attach the Pilgrims to the original story of Thanksgiving, and that's your version, then we at least need to honor the Native Americans and tell the truth, whether we like the truth or not. Now, I wasn't there. It wasn't me that made those atrocities, but our ancestors did. And that's something that we should not be proud of. So we should at least honor by telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, no matter how it makes us look. But it's my opinion that that's not the original story of Thanksgiving at all. That Thanksgivings were celebrated in every culture, in every continent, in every language, as I mentioned before. And this was in the mind of George Washington. It wasn't the Pilgrims that he had in his mind. It was the fact that they had a military victory and they wanted to give glory to God, unify the country, and have Thanksgiving Day that God gave them victory over their oppressors. And that's what every culture did. And this just so happens to be a coincidence that there was a Thanksgiving during the time of 1621 and a time of Thanksgiving in 1778, because every culture did the same thing. What historians made the mistake of doing, or I should say the New Englanders in the early 1900s, is connecting the two and say this is the origin, forgetting that every culture did this. It was simply a coincidence. Now, here's the next question. Is Thanksgiving pagan? This seems to be a very prevalent idea in modern 21st century, is that Thanksgiving is pagan. Now, we know that Christmas and Easter and Halloween and many of these holidays that Americans celebrate today are in fact pagan in origin, without a doubt. If you doubt that, you can watch December 25th on Trial. It is a very deep academic look at just why we chose December 25th to begin with. You'll be shocked at why we celebrate Christmas and how it got changed from the Festival of Sukkot, Feast of Tabernacles, when Jesus, Yeshua, was really born. As a matter of fact, if you want to find out why they changed it from Sukkot to December 25th, which was the winter solstice, you can watch When Was Jesus Really Born? That will open up your eyes as well and shock you and get you excited about learning more about the Bible. But I digress. Let's finish up this broadcast by talking about whether or not Thanksgiving is actually pagan and should we celebrate it? Because there is a very firm foundation for that belief until you actually look at it deeper. And so let's talk about paganism, period. So paganism simply is a term that means that's outside of the God of the Bible. So outside of Judaism, outside of Christianity, and outside of Islam. Everything else is pagan. And so there are absolute definitions that we as Bible believers have to go by if we're going to determine what's pagan in origin and what's not. It's very similar to copyright laws. Now you might say, what in the world are you talking about? Copyright laws?
Smart founders know something most people miss. Get your domain name even if you're not ready to launch your business. With Wix, you can grab yours now and then get to work. Here's why it matters.
In American copyright laws, you can't just copyright something that's generic. For instance, you cannot copyright the title The Songbird because The Songbird is too generic of a title. It has to be very specific towards a company, title, or a product. It has to be very specific, okay? This is why Christmas and Easter are definitely pagan, because they were very specific pagan dates by the Roman pagans towards their pagan gods with specific details that outline those festivals. And when the Roman Christians came along, they borrowed those, say syncretized them, and they threw a little holy water on them and took every element of those holidays and simply Christianized them. They simply took the pagan components of those traditions and Christianized them, but they kept the pagan traditions. And again, I encourage you to watch December 25th on Trial, or even Truth or Tradition, which will really shock you and rock your world. But it's my belief that Thanksgiving is different. Although there's pagans that had days of Thanksgiving for thousands of years, that doesn't make it pagan in origin or forbidden by God to celebrate it. Why? Because it's too generic. Think of the ramifications. Because pagans have a Thanksgiving day to their God, we're saying Christians can't give thanks to their God because pagans did? No, just like a trademark has to be specific, so the holiday must be specific. And Thanksgiving is not. It's generic in every way. That's why I said every culture, every language, every tribe and tongue had a Thanksgiving day. It's just generic. Think about this. If we're going to take the definition of paganism and say just because the pagans invented it, we can't do it or use it or celebrate it as Christians, we're in actually big trouble, because wedding rings were actually founded by pagans, and the fourth ring finger is what they put it on because they believed there was a vein in that finger that went straight to the heart. As romantic as that is, it was actually invented by pagans. Does that mean that you can't use a wedding ring as a symbol of value between you and your spouse? Some of our legal system has not only biblical roots founded in the Torah, but also from the Code of Hammurabi and also Babylon. Does that mean that we don't use our legal system because the pagans had something to do with it? The Chinese actually invented fireworks. Now, I don't know about you, but I love fireworks. So if you're going to take the position that if pagans did it, we can't do it, then we can't even wear underwear, because the underwear, believe it or not, was invented by the Egyptians thousands of years ago. And not only that, did you know that yawning has its origins in paganism? That's right. They began to find that so many infants were dying and infants couldn't cover their mouth. And they believed that when someone yawned, their life force was potentially coming out of them and could be extracted by a demon. So by covering your mouth when you yawn, you're protecting your life force. And that's why people cover their mouth today. Now, are we to say that because those items, and those are just a handful, were invented by the pagans, that we're not supposed to cover our mouth when we yawn, or we are not supposed to wear wedding rings, and so on and so forth? And I believe the same goes for Thanksgiving. It's just too generic to say that just because pagans had a day of Thanksgiving, that we shouldn't have a day of Thanksgiving. And I further want to submit that the real legal origins of Thanksgiving don't even go back to the Pilgrims at all, but are founded in George Washington and the founding of this country as a military victory day of Thanksgiving, like it had always been for thousands of years in every culture. So whether you choose to believe that Thanksgiving started in 1621, or you choose to believe that it started in 1776 through 1778 with George Washington and all of that, in both cases, I believe that it's kosher to celebrate. I believe the logic of those that say that it's not okay to celebrate because of the dark and sinister history that happened after 1621. It's like saying that we shouldn't celebrate July 4th and Independence Day because of the Civil War. Just because something happened negative after something positive, it doesn't erase or remove the original reason. And we know that there was peace between the Wampanoag tribe and the Pilgrims in 1621, and things did not go south for at least another 10 or 12 years, and the Pilgrims had nothing to do with that war. That was the Massachusetts Bay Colony War with a completely different tribe. It would not be until the 1670s that the Wampanoag tribe would go to war with and lose almost their entire population in that war. And so no matter how you slice it, the logic just doesn't add up to say Thanksgiving is evil or it's pagan or we shouldn't celebrate it because of its dark history. Unfortunately, this is the same logic that would say that just because things went wrong in Christianity and Christianity became part of the Roman Church and they began the Crusades and all these horrible, sinister things that happened against the Jewish people, that somehow that invalidates Christ and his cross when it was pure, when the spring started up on the mountain. It's when the water travels down through time and traditions and doctrines and men get a hold of it that everything gets muddied up. It's not the muddy part that we're celebrating, it's the original part that is pure and holy. And although even in 1621 it wasn't perfect, the relationship certainly was worth celebrating, so much so that the Native Americans celebrated with the Pilgrims, and that should say something. Now, I'm certainly not saying that paganism hasn't somehow crept into Thanksgiving, because it absolutely has. The cornucopia finds its origin all the way back in Greek mythology with Zeus. The legend says that Zeus accidentally broke off one of the horns of his wet nurse, but he turns it into a cornucopia as an I'm so sorry. He promises its perpetual overflow with her favorite fruits. And then somehow that cornucopia eventually morphs into modern day Christianity and finds its way into Thanksgiving, likely because Thanksgiving has to do with a harvest and an overflow in abundance. So you can decide whether or not you want to have a cornucopia this Thanksgiving, but I wouldn't recommend it just because its origins are very specifically found in paganism. And as we come to the end of this broadcast, I would be remiss as a Bible teacher, especially one who focuses on biblical Christian roots of our faith, to not tell you the real holiday that God wants us to celebrate, and that's the Feast of Tabernacles. There are 7 feast days on God's calendar. 4 of them have to do with the first coming of Christ, and the last 3, the fall festivals, have to do with the second coming of Christ. If you've never
Okay, y'all. So I think we heard enough. Well, I did. I mean, to, I guess have an idea. So I'm just thankful every day. And I don't think again, I feel like we're celebrating bloodshed for sure if we sit down and celebrate this day once a year. But again, that's just my opinion. I like a lot of points this guy made in his video. Shout out to him in the video. I do. He made a lot of valid points. He took accountability, which I like. For the white man, he did do that. So shout out to him for taking accountability. And, he said it. The truth is the truth. Y'all, it is what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the link if anyone wants to come up here and, tell me how they feel and what their perspective is, And if not, we'll just keep it in the comments for a couple more minutes. And then I'll just end it, and I'll be back when I'm back. Again, shout out to my people out over there on the yellow app, the Snap Chizzy Chat. Y'all motherfuckers doing the thing. Y'all got me up there. We're at we only got 98 more to go. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to my subscriber 401. Me and her go way back. You know who I'm talking about. Shout out to you. We're talking right now. We go way, way back. The greenhouse, the blue house. Shout out to you, my friend. So again, you guys, I do appreciate all y'all over there that came and hit that subscribe button for your girl. We started at 385. We're at 401, and we got 98 more to go to help my platform go to the next level. And it's all about support. It's free, and it's just wonderful. We need more support in this world. And so I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. I am thankful on this thankful day, because I'm thankful every day, and it just happens to be, a holiday, they say, So it's thankful. I'm so very, very thankful for y'all support. So I did drop that link. Anybody want to come and tell me how they feel? I feel like we were lied to for sure. I feel like the history is wrong, and we were lied to about the history. And I feel like by being lied to, we're celebrating bloodshed. And that's it. And that's just all. And that's sad. It's sad that we don't know a lot of the truth for our history. It really is. It's weird. It's just like it goes back to, the African Americans and, the Africans, it's been said that our own African ancestors sold us to the white man. That's why we came to America, and we're African Americans, and, they're Africans. So it's like, it's a lot of fucked up shit. There's a lot of shit that I didn't come to light for me for a long time. Like, I'll be 33 in a couple days, but I just started educating myself and doing my research, and actually, because I trusted man's word, but I started looking into some shit, and some people call it playing advocate and going down different avenues. But yeah, I started doing my research, and I'm like, wow. And it's like, shout out to you, mom and dad. You could have helped me a little more, but it's all good. I'm figuring it out. But my dad definitely helped me a little bit more understand things. But yeah, in a sense, I'm but I still honor my mother and my father every day. I don't honor my mother and my father one day of the year. And they get my respect. And it is what it is. Honoring your mother and father sometimes doesn't mean you talk to them every day. It means that if I have to love you from afar to respect you, that's what we gonna do. You know what I'm saying? No, I don't. I feel like holding hate in our heart, you can never truly love yourself. If you're out here claiming you love yourself, y'all, and you have and I hear you again, it's a prime example. If I'm in a room with some friends and I hear someone say, I love myself, okay, well, us as humans, we show better than we tell, you know. So if you love yourself, how you over here telling, you know, Mo, Dick, and Harry that, you know, how much you can't stand this person and you'll never, and you hold a grudge. Like, you could, in my opinion, you can't hold a grudge in your heart and claim that you love yourself. You can't. You cannot hold hate in your heart. You can't have no type of hate in your soul if you think you're gonna love yourself, or if you think you do. In my opinion, that make it make sense. I love myself, but I got hate in my heart. What? What the fuck? I mean, maybe I'm crazy. I'll be crazy. But again, it's, I don't know, contradicts itself to me. Contradicting. I love myself, but I hold hate in my heart. What? I don't know, y'all. Maybe again. We got a lot going on, man. A lot going on. You can't. What do you guys think? Leave me a comment on the replay, gang. In the comments, what y'all think? Do you think you could truly love yourself, holding hate in your heart, aka holding a grudge? Because it says in the good book, you know, the good old book, that even when on the day of judgment, you come to him and you hold a grudge against your brother or your sister or your mother, he's gonna tell you to go fix it and then come back to me, you know? So again, this is for my family members out here. You holding hate against your brother or your sister, you can be angry with them, you can forgive them and hold them accountable. It's all, again, back to about our brain being a very powerful thing and what we tell ourselves. Okay, I don't hate you. I don't hold a grudge against you, but guess what? I hold you motherfucking accountable. I hold you for accountable. If that means holding you accountable means I don't fuck with you, hey, that doesn't mean I'm holding a grudge. I'm holding you accountable for the actions that you took upon me or you took in life. And if those actions become that I have to fuck with you from a hand stretch away, that's what that means. That doesn't mean I hold a grudge. Again, it's all about the words we use. The tongue is a powerful thing, and it's all about the things we tell ourselves. So, I'm going to use me. I'm a perfect example. I got 5 sisters, okay? 5 motherfucking sisters. And, you know, I'm second in line. I got my one and only big sister. Shout out to her, my Irish twin. Shout out to you, my Irish twin, my only one and big sister. And that's the only one that me, you know, like me and her got a good relationship. We do. But the other ones, they don't. It isn't because of me. I know that I've done some things, you know, whatever. We're human. And I took accountability, but I guess, you know, some people just can't forgive. But that is my main point, is I can make peace with it. I did my part, right? But especially as a brother, a sister, a mother, or a father, if you are hating your sister, your brother, your mother, or your father, you can't love yourself. You can't. You cannot fucking love yourself. You can't tell Big JJ you love yourself. You can't. Call me crazy. I don't care, but you can't. You can't. It's crazy to me, like, family nowadays. It's family. There's no, like, family has been just fucking drugged through the mud. Like, it's sad. One, we have more and more days go by. We have more and more households that are not being led by men. And, you know, it says in the good book again, man shall lead, okay? And that we don't got no men leading out here. So, you know, and look what we get. You know, I'm just saying. That's just my opinion, though. Love one another as Yah has loved you. You feel me? That part. Yeah, because You cannot have any negativity walking with you, aka grudge, aka hate, aka anger, aka non-forgiveness. Like, you cannot love yourself. You can't. And I won't believe you, because again, the mouth that we bump can reveal a lot of things about someone very, 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 very up front. If we actually pay attention. I keep saying it. We always focus in on the flesh, like, oh, this person looks good, this person looks, do whatever, whoop-de do. And that's when we let all the red flags go over our head, because we're tunneled in. But in that same moment, if we weren't tunneled in, we could see all the red flags right away, in my opinion. Or, I mean, not all of them, but some of them. Like, as you know what I mean, as someone saying, oh yeah, I love myself, but but I don't fuck with my sister because, yeah, I hate that bitch. What? But I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna say nothing, I'm not gonna judge, but that just tells me a lot about you. That you should go and love yourself. In my Justin Bieber voice, you should go and love yourself. Hey, there, yeah, shout out to my Snapchat people. This motherfucker going off like crazy. It's been a Snapchat type of day. I done forgot about Snapchat, because I be on the Red app. I be working, and then I be throwing coins on TikTok and shit. I forgot all about my Snapchat people. It's been over a month. I was like, oh shit, let me go share that shit out to them. Again, shout out to my Snap Chizzy mother. A lot of me and them, we go back. We all go back. A lot of us go back to motherfucking elementary. I was just talking about Miss Tracy's class. If any of y'all in here, or if you pull up on your girl on the replay, I was talking about the core democratic values that was on Miss Tracy's wall. Them laminated pieces of paper in 4th grade. I vote we bring them back, because I don't think they're in the schools anymore. I asked them again, but yeah, shout out to Miss Tracy. Yeah, 10th grade, them core democratic values, y'all. They were definitely stuck and hung around the wall. And again, I don't think the teachers have them hanging on the walls anymore. I think we got like Espanol, uno, dos, tres, laminated all over the wall, and some other shit. In my opinion, put the core democratic values back up for the kids, y'all. That's my opinion. I said it, and I meant it. Shit. Well, So you guys, we started at, again, I'm gonna say it, shout out to the love that came today from the Yellow app, y'all. Shout out to y'all on this November the 27th, the last Thursday in November. You guys are amazing, and shout out to my people over here on the Red app that continue to pull up on me, that continue to hit that like button, that continue to engage with me. Shout out to y'all. That shit is free. And it means a lot to me. It means a lot to me, It really does. So I'm gonna let y'all, keep stuff in your face and take a nap, because the turkey does make you sleepy. I was smashing my food while the video was playing that quick. And, protect your babies, hug on your family members, maybe, forgive. Maybe today can be a day of forgiveness, and some hate can come out of everybody's hearts. Maybe, I don't know. I'm cheering for it. I'm for it. I'm rooting for it all. I'm rooting for all the positivity, I'm rooting for it. So, hell yeah. But you know how your girl likes to end it. Winnie the Poohski. Good old Christopher Robin, You're smarter than you think. You're braver than you believe. And you're stronger than you seem, And I always feel it in my soul, man. Tell that saying to yourself every day. And I bet you a little less negativity will be a part of that day. Just that saying. It's just a thought. But again, y'all, I hope y'all have the smoothest, the coolest, and the 100% truest November the 27th that you ever have, you know? And I'm thankful for each and every one of my supporters. It's all love over here. And I'm thankful every day. I'm thankful every day. Not just today, but every day. I said it. But again, until next time, your girl is up out of here. Y'all be real smooth, okay? And again, it's all motherfucking love over here, y'all. All love.
What? You fucking hate on me? You fucking crazy? You fucking hate on me? You fucking gonna die, homie. Hate on. Come on, bitch. Hate on me. Hate on. You fucking hate on me. Hate on. Hate on me. Come on, motherfucker. Hate on me. Hate on. Bitches. Hate on me. Hate on that shit. Hate on me. Hate on. I love you. Hate on me. Hate on me. I love when you watch, cause you know that I'm hot. With my tight whip, fine bitch, yeah, we do this shit, cause I'm flashy, acting nasty, but your boys be acting glassy. I can see right through you, yeah, that's the truth. Come on, dude, you know I'm bad. Hit the bone that down, play the work. It just surges ultimate energy. I want the levels that bring chemistry and history and misery and pain, bitch. I'm glad I'm not you, but you wanna be me. I'm like T.I., you don't know me. There's a difference between doing and done, and you ain't even did either fucking one, son. So feel the 5-0, my desire to place me higher than that wide that's been set. Definitely need something bigger than this neck. 100 track direct. What you got to say next? Hate on me. Hate on. Come on. Hate on me. Hate on me. Motherfucker. Hate on me. Hate on me. Hate on. Hate on. Hate on me. Motherfucker. Hate on me.
You can hate on me, but what your fate gon' be? Dead motherfucker, so I stay low key. I'm JVUB, that's Blaze O-N-E. One hat records, motherfucker, call us one hit.